They're
That'll get
bad.
it rolling.
Rockies are bad. I don't have anything else to say.
I got something to say. I'm going to give you something you don't know. Some ammunition for
Okay.
you.
By the way,
Once again,
your column
I'm
over the
dangerous.
weekend. Your column on Sunday.
Well, we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, that was.
I got one for you.
Wow.
I almost put you in there.
Thanks.
I put you in there before.
I know.
Here's something you didn't know. What would you think would be the last 3 teams in Major League Baseball that spend less on their pitching staff than all the other teams?
That spend less on their pitching staff
Yeah.
to their detriment, or have they been successful?
Doesn't matter.
Less on their. I'll say Oakland. Is that one team?
No. But good guess.
Less on their pitching staff than every other team.
Okay, I'll get to it. 'Cause Cleveland spends less money than anybody does on their pitching staff.
Okay.
They have a pretty good young pitching staff. Number 2 is a team you would expect, I would think, the Rays, Tampa Bay, because they
Their
got
payroll
rid of
and their payroll
they
is so
got rid
low.
of their high price pitchers.
Right.
The pun is
Shields.
intended. Price, David
Yeah,
Price.
Shields and Price.
Yeah. And number 3 is the Rockies. Wouldn't we all
There's
agree,
a
other
shocker.
than the owner or management or whatever else, that the biggest problem is the Rockies pitching staff? Would you agree? Specifically the rotation.
Yes, on the field, their starting rotation is their biggest problem.
The entire pitching staff.
Yes.
Because Rex Brothers didn't come through, and that they've had LaTroy Hawkins on disabled.
Avino on the disabled
going
list.
to be out.
Yeah, it's been a problem.
And Boone Logan, who they spent a lot of money on for them, hasn't really been that good.
Right.
They spend 33% of their payroll on salaries. And
On pitching.
on pitching, yes. And the amount is something south of $30 million. So that's about because their
Okay.
overall payroll is $97 million.
Yeah.
So they spend $30 million. There are teams in the division that spend $30 million on one player just about.
Right. Right. Kershaw.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be, and I'm asking this, I'm not trying to make, I'm giving you facts, because Jeff Bridich, this is what I wrote about, he wants facts. He doesn't want opinions. He wants news stories that are facts, 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 facts. I'm giving you facts, Jeff. Look this up. Do something. Why don't you? The fact is, the worst part of their team is pitching, and they don't spend any money on it. Doesn't that make no sense whatsoever?
Okay, but you can't. You went after Bridich. He's not the one holding the purse strings. It's
No,
the
I
owner
didn't
that's
go
holding
out
the
to him
purse
about the
strings.
pitching.
Okay.
I went after him for being a bad general manager.
Well,
to prove
no,
it.
wait. He also is not responsible for the Tulowitzki and the cargo contracts, Woody, and that's where most of their money's being spent. He also didn't
Okay,
sign. Hold
all
on.
right, well,
he also didn't
all right,
sign Boone Logan,
let's
who's making about
transition.
$5 million a year.
Let's
He also didn't
let's
sign
get-
De La Rosa,
let's-
who's making 11 or 12.
Woody and Les, and I just want to follow up on that, and I know you have some other questions and other issues with the Rockies, but I go back to my point. You're spending half your payroll on 3 guys, De La Rosa,
Tulowitzki
and Cargo.
and cargo.
That's $47 million
Yeah.
out of $97 million, so that's approximately 50%. But yet you're spending only 33% on pitching. That is the biggest need for the Rockies. It has been the biggest need for the Rockies since 1993.
Yep.
Wouldn't you, if you were in charge?
And they haven't been able to figure it out.
And this is a fact, Jeff. I know you want facts. Would you? No, this is opinion. Take that back. No, I want to make a fact. If pitching is your biggest need, your biggest expenditure should be for pitching. I think
That makes sense.
that you overpay pitchers. That has been noted since before the Rockies came into being. About everybody knew about altitude when the Denver Bears and the Denver Zephyrs were here, that the ball flew out of here. They got it wrong in terms of the stadium. Bob Gebhardt, you got it wrong, and I've reached out to him recently. He didn't return my call. The outfield's too big. It creates so many different problems to have such a big outfield. That's a simple fix. You make the stadium confinement more confining. And I say that, and everybody go, "Oh, the home runs." home runs aren't killing you here. Solo home runs don't kill you. 6-inning running streaks, making 6 runs in an inning, that's what kills you. That's where you lose 14-2 and stuff like that. But now this is an opinion. If I'm running the Rockies, I go, let's go spend 65 to 70% of our money on pitchers. Really? Yes. They can get guys like Charlie Blackmon that hit 285.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing. You can get Corey Dickersons out of the draft. You can get
hitters who are trying to revive their careers and believe that padding their stats at Coors Field will do that for them. They might be short-term answers, but that's okay.
So
if you get a good year or two out of them, that's okay.
So there's James Shields out there, and they signed him to a contract for $90 million. I think any pitcher, if you said, okay, we'll give you $125 million, that's an extra $35 million. Show some onions. Show some guts, some gumption. Come here and see if you can't do it.
You make a great point. I had not heard this argument before, that they spend so little on pitching when pitching is their greatest need.
Look through the lineup. If you look
and you know why? And you know why
lineup,
else that makes sense? Well, first of all, pitching wins, guys. Pitching wins. I mean, that's how teams win World Series. You don't find a team winning a World Series the vast majority of the time that doesn't have at least 2 horses, 2 really good pitchers at the top of their rotation. So you need pitching to go deep, number one. Number two, the Rockies have tried bludgeoning people to death here. You and I had a talk with Walt Weiss before the season started, and he said at Coors Field, we need to bludgeon teams to death. Well, you know what? I think we're finding out that a team like the Rockies that has been near or at the top of the batting stats year after year after year, it doesn't win anything. Bludgeoning teams doesn't win you anything. You need to pitch. So they should be spending some of that money on pitching. They're always going to score runs here. They're always going to score runs here because of the nature of Coors Field and the altitude.
That's why I come back to it. Okay, we talk about Dick Monfort all the time. Dick, okay, let's accept that his $100 million is his max out price. Spend $70 million of that, $75 million on pitching. It's a very simple. I've been trying to come around with a solution, so I looked at all the teams and how much they spent on. That's the solution. Is they don't get it. Jeff Bridich doesn't get it. I mean, if I were the general manager, I came in, I'd examine everything and go, our spending is out of place. You're already spending for something you have that you have no problems getting. Justin Morneau comes in here and totally revives his career, leads the league in hitting.
Yeah, we've seen a number of those things.
Kadire.
Yeah.
You know, we go down the line.
Jeffrey Hammond.
There's a guy named Bill, Kingery.
Jeff Kingery.
No, not the but he came in and hit 350 one year. And he was
Mike Kingery.
Yeah, Mike Kingery. Great guy, but he hit like 350 in a half plane slotted half.
Well, look at the guys. Look at the guys.
Burks.
Dante Bichette's career was going nowhere till he came here.
Larry Walker led the league in hitting. Galarragas was a good home run hitter.
Galarraga. Well, a lot of people were writing off Galarraga. He came here in the altitude. Don Baylor was the manager, but also served as kind of Galarraga's personal hitting coach, turned him around.
But when you go out and get maybe 6 or 7 guys and give them $2 million a year, you can find hitters for $2 million a year.
Sure.
$2-3 million a year.
You can get guys at a discount who are trying to revive their careers.
8 guys. Listen, 8 guys that are major league hitters. $3 million. $24 million. That leaves you $75 million
to spend on pitching.
There's the solution. You go out and get 4 good pitchers at $15 million a year.
I love it. Spend more on pitching because
but
you tried outscoring people for 23 years, and for the most part, it hasn't worked. That segment of the show brought to you by John Elway Chevrolet, Colorado's #1 Chevrolet.